the numbers at the lower part of the table are higher than the numbers at the upper part of the table, which show us that these items that are on this part are from the beginning more familiar to the students than those that are on the upper part of the table. A very interesting finding was the difference between the two related concepts, that is greenhouse effect and global warming. The two related effects showed different results, while in greenhouse effect, the students improved their knowledge, and in global warming, they did not. I thought that it may be due to the fact that global warming is a concept, an item that you can usually hear or read in the mass media. And most of the public knows about the concept, while greenhouse effect, which is not so is not heard in the mass media usually, was improved, which was at the beginning lower, was improved during the exposure to the Green Campus project. A very similar effect you can see if you look at the endangered animals and biodiversity conservation. The endangered animals is a part of the biodiversity conservation. So here you also can see improvement, and while endangered animals, the improvement is not significant. So this is more familiar from the mass media compared to the biodiversity conservation. Okay, so I summarize it as expected. There is an improvement in students' knowledge after exposure to the Campus Green project. The improvement is mainly in concept and problem and phenomena that are unfamiliar from the mass media. In this table, I want to show you how the students' perception about the status of the environment in their living area, in their city, in Israel, and in the world. Here also the same pre-post mean values and significance. And as you can see, the difference, the improvement was shown, a slight improvement, a significant one in the living area. I want the same values to show you in a graph, because you can see better the pattern that in the pre and in the post, there is the same pattern, which as you are farther away from your living area, you think that the situation is worse. And as I said, here there is a small significant improvement, which I will talk about it later. Okay. So I'm summarizing this as the environmental status is worse as it is farther away from the living area, with a small pattern for with a similar pattern for pre and post, and there is a significant small change in the perception of the environmental status in the living area, meaning worse in the post. So I want to summarize, to conclude, and to suggest further study. I didn't mention, but the results that I'm representing now, it's part of a wider study which is being now evaluated for publication. Okay, so it seems that most of the students didn't understand the connection between the local and global environmental conditions, even after learning. And it's I would expect that our students, that most of them live in Haifa and the surroundings, will understand after learning that the situation in our city is bad, because Haifa is an industrial because Haifa is an industrial city with a petrochemical industry and very air polluted. And also, I would expect that they will understand that what is done in the neighborhood, in the city, affects the environmental status, the global environmental status. Okay, so as I said, there were slight significant trend towards worse status after learning in the neighborhood. And this may empower the need for tailored curriculum, a specific program to improve their perceptions. And I thought that implementing place-based learning, which will include the outdoor learning in the city and in the living area, which will include observing environmental hazards, may improve students' perception. Moreover, a follow-up study in which students will grade not only the all status in the four areas, but will grade air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution, may give a better picture of student perceptions. And this is the end of my lecture, and I want to thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Dear colleagues, are there any questions, any comments, anything you would like to say?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yes, can you hear?
Okay. Now I can.
Yeah, my question is, you talk about teacher-student perception, and like when we talk about these environmental issues, is there an initiative at university level, or does the initiative come from the government, or is it like bilateral agreement to deal with this issue, like state level, government level, and the university level? Which way does it happen?
Okay, first of all, the concept of green campus is a wide word concept, and a lot of universities around the world are adopting this project and become a green campus. Specifically in Israel, it's initiative of the Ministry of Environmental Protection, and any college or university that meets meet the criteria that are set by the committee can be certified as a green campus.
Okay, okay, I see. Thank you. Any other
Thank
questions?
you very much.
Comments?
Can I?
Thank you.
Can I make a comment and ask a question?
Please.
Okay, thank you very much for this, highlighting this green campus concept, dear. I'm wondering, actually, when we talk about green, we kind of actually talk about recycling most of the time, but when it comes to commuting, for example, transport, most green campuses should probably, in my belief, try to promote, for example, cycling, walking, rather than, for example, allowing transport, allowing, motor vehicles, in fact, to travel on the campus itself. Okay. Is there such an initiative on your campus?
Yes, yes. There was an initiative of pool car, which students come together. There were some transportation for a group, especially for those who are far away from the campus. It was considered it's not so easy to do like recycle and management, because it's not only the college can do it. It's the students' willingness to adopt a kind of changing life, not to come with their car and to come in a pool with others.
My concern is actually the students themselves may take the initiative, but actually they've got to see a model first. The model, of course, should be set by the teachers, the instructors, in fact, the professors, on the campus. If we are, for example, as teachers, to preach one thing and on the other, actually, to expect something else from the students, I think that would be extremely unfair.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right, yes. There is a lot more to do and a lot more to change in our lifestyle. But talking is very easy and doing is harder. So we can do in our courses the best we can, the maximum that we can, in order to make the student understand the importance of changing their lifestyle. But still, it's up to them, and it depends on their motives, their personality.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now we need to actually introduce the next participant, Chen Kercher. Do we have a presenter? No, cannot join us. Then the next presenter is Erdogan Bada and Yonca Özkan. Do I say that correctly?
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Bada, thank you for joining us. So, Mr. Bada will present on peer group support in responding to teachers' professional situations, my way or your way. Thank you.
Dr. Özkan actually is going to present, but before that, let me thank you very much for this opportunity. We really were looking forward actually to being actually in Georgia, because actually we've been there a couple of times and we just loved the city, the country itself. And we were hoping to see actually your university. But sadly, actually, this situation just happened out of the blue, that we all been engulfed actually by this COVID-19 pandemic. Sad for that, of course. But yes, Professor actually Özkan is going to present now. And let me just check, she probably should be around. there?
Yes, she's here.
She is.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, okay.
And yeah, Mr. Badawi, you can join us next year and the year
We would be looking forward to
years
that.
to follow. Yeah, definitely.
Because
We are here.
we're
You
looking
are
forward
here.
to that. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you so
indeed.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, please. And could I please ask you to mind the 10-minute timeline so that we have time for discussions and other presentation as well. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, as you, thank you very much. You mentioned the title already. So it's about peer group support and related to teacher professional situations. And we are from Turkey. I and my colleague from Turkey, from Adana, here, one of the Mediterranean city. And we are from Çukurova University. Again, state is one of the state universities in Turkey. Yes, here I'll start first the related literature and continue with the sections. Yes, we are focusing here teacher training programs and teachers' willingness and professional readiness. Trainers and trainees here treated in a linear rather than a hierarchical order, that they coexist to exploit new teaching techniques, generate and exchange new ideas, share experiences, and draw possible conclusions. So they are together to learn, since they believe that through learning only they can enrich their personal lives and add new dimensions to their professions. Yes, I'm skipping the related literature because due to time limitation. I'm just trying to give the key elements in the related literature. Right, so we are discussing clinical supervision in the literature section, and we try to seek responses to the following questions. What kinds of matters do teachers consult with their peers, colleagues? What kinds of suggestions do teachers offer related to emerging matters during peer encounters? How do English language teachers from schools of Turkish Ministry of National Education and university instructors assess such peer group encounters in their professional environment? We have here 8 teachers from Ministry of Education state schools, 4 from primary and 4 from high school, and university instructors working here at 3 different state institutions in Turkey. Here 12 Sorry? All 12 teachers had an average of 10 to 15-year English teaching experience. They all took mentorship certificates in line with Turkish Ministry of National Education practicum guidelines. Here, we collected our data by using 2 different tools. One is reflective papers involving different scenarios and face-to-face semi-structured interviews. The participants were asked to comment on topics related to courses and other professional issues with no restriction of topic or length of comments. Here we try to meet participants regularly once a week at their institutions, observe them, and were ready to provide extra support where needed. The participants were asked to write freely without word restriction under each assigned triggering question. The researchers arranged appointments with each participant separately, and each interview session lasted approximately 45 minutes at a meeting room where we worked. Here, we conducted thematic analysis, basing the analysis on Brown and Clark's initial axial and theoretical coding. We conducted 3 phases in coding process. Here, we try to do it online in a collaborative fashion in order to sustain intercoder reliability and trustworthiness of our study. Out of, the data, reflective papers and interview data, mainly 7 profession-related issues emerge here, and our participants propose some suggestions, and we'll here display their verbatim also. Here, the first theme emerged here, the first issue here discussed, professional development in service training sessions, and here all 8 teachers who were working in primary and high schools found here this is ineffective and time-consuming, hence not important use. The participating teachers from the university, they were all eager to attend such activities. Other Ministry of Education teachers expressed boredom and monotony of the sessions. And however, the participants from university expressed rather positive views regarding seminars and other professional development programs. Here, teachers, now here we're presenting the implications and the discussion with respect to each issue mentioned. Teachers must be allowed to exercise free will in opting for and against attending such programs, since only then a genuine benefit can be obtained. In schools, teachers' awareness must be raised about the importance and benefits of such in-service teacher programs. Here, there are some potential ways. ELT trainers from universities can be invited to elaborate on the use of benefits. And the location, inner decoration, library, or other physical properties of facility are of great significance, certainly a very great part in attracting participants and sustain high motivation. Yes, and we're moving with this issue, the second theme and the second discussion point, participants managing classroom, especially in overcrowded classes. The primary and high school teachers all had difficulty in managing classrooms, especially overcrowded ones. Managing classrooms to 8 teachers were perceived as challenging regardless of their teaching practices. University teachers, the same offered problem at some other point of view. Due to age and experience, they believe that they did not face such a problem in their classroom settings. Yes, here some views. Teachers should try to exploit already existing methods and techniques, as well as devising their own to cope with overcrowded multidisciplinary classes. Small groups can be formed, diverse activities can be appealing. Here, Ministry of Education can set a number limit and no violation allowed. In fact, in most cases here, the Ministry of Education set the limit, yet in phase, the number may rise to an intolerable level. Since it would be very difficult to group students according to train themselves in response to students' various academic needs, preferences, and learner styles. The third, cooperation and teamwork in the institution. Such teamwork, project work, and collaborative work valid for primary level teachers only. For high school and university teachers, it's rather impossible to gather for team projects and cooperative work. Teachers working at the primary level expressed that their regular meetings could enhance team support and team negotiation under the control of one leader. This is very valid with primary level. While high school teachers pointed at the lack of collegial face difficulty in maintaining discipline in classes, university teachers, on the other hand, complained about the motivation due to lack of synergy in their institution. Trainers may give an informal proficiency exam to see if there are risks between individuals. Without a diagnosis, one can hardly find this treatment. Relying on the results received from participants, trainers may find it convenient to individualize instruction. So this requires part of course to be lecture type, greater part projects, homework, inside class task assignment. So Ministry of Education, however, may say to teacher to trouble and the level of determination themselves. The fourth element in the findings, the prescribed course syllabus and its drawbacks. This point concerns primary and high school teachers only. The teachers stated that there was too much to achieve in the syllabus designed for their courses. However, topics such as drama, songs, picture drawings were not included in the syllabus. So common views, since teachers are supposed to cover what is included in the syllabus, they do not seem to have much to do about this point. They still have some freedom of movement, which may help them to introduce some modifications. But still, it's very demanding because they have to follow the already existing and the syllabus and the curriculum proposed by the Ministry of Education. Yes, the fifth issue, school, family, society collaboration. Primary school teachers raised the collaboration issue in their discussions. So without parental support, it will be almost impossible to continue education. Parental support is the key element here with primary level. However, high school teachers express negativity related to family support. To better deal with the age group of learners, they asserted that there should be family support, but it's lacking. University teachers did also express views in this line. Yes, Ministry of Education rather sensitive in this issue, making sure that family meetings are designed in such a way that they all accommodate all teachers in the institutions. Seminars, conferences, face-to-face encounters may increase family members of awareness. So this is the suggestions according to MONE, Ministry of Education report. Issue 6, shortage of source material and facilities. All the participants said that the facility of their program lacked a comprehensive and digital library, rather restricting situation for both teachers and language learners. Source materials needed, this is urgent. Students as well as teachers are bound to make do with what they have in hand. They cannot assign research projects, cannot ask students to perform outside tasks. Extensive work is a challenge. They, if not very valuable, fall short of meeting students' academic demands. So it would be unfair to leave teachers to their own, rather limited with these limited devices, element sources. So the Ministry of Education should prepare and should maintain infrastructure so that they can be digital libraries or related sources should be maintained. Number 7, the last one, decision makers and the effect of decision-making process on teachers. Decision-making is mostly done by one person according to primary and high school teachers, which puts very much pressure on teachers, especially in bringing supplementary materials for their students. Since this is the case in the institution, they feel tense and deeply dissatisfied. University teachers, on the other hand, felt more powerful and authoritative compared to state school teachers. Such empowerment enables university teachers enrich their lectures with appropriate supplementaries, online and offline materials. So here the suggestion, headmasters should not have the power to decide on behalf of teachers working in their institutions. This is probably a governmental issue, educational policy maybe, and the government here should share, the stakeholders should share the responsibility in the, so decision-making process should be shared. Here, the data suggests us, or the, let's say, the participants based on the qualitative data. Enthusiasm among teachers can thus be captured only when such issues are properly addressed so that they can work for the benefit of students. Absence or misapplication of factors that are normally conducive to an educational setting may lead to lack of interest among teachers as well as students in general. Peer consultation may be promoted in primary and high school environments to enhance teachers' potentials in honing their problem-solving skills. As for university teachers, peer consultation could foster their job satisfaction, intrinsic motivation, and learner success and motivation. So, okay. Peer group support in general may lead to positive and constructive changes in teachers' behaviors and attitudes, which in turn may be expected to reflect on to build up students' motivation and success in both personal and academic terms. Yes, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the interesting presentation. I'm sorry, now we can't take any questions, but could you please, when you, and if you are interested in some specific topics, could you please discuss it with participants? And dear colleagues, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And we also planned many times to come to Çukurova University, but yeah, because of some issues, I don't know, we couldn't manage. But in the future, I do hope that we can come and visit you. Yeah, we are constantly getting invitations, and I personally am planning to come there. So hopefully we'll meet there. And of course, you are more than welcome to come to our university. So the next participant is Mustafa Shiar. And the mountains echoed by Khaled Hosseini. Could you please stick to 10-minute limitation, because webinar is starting very soon and we need to move to that session. I'm sorry for this. I don't know this time limitation imposed, but I hope you understand this complexity of this online communication. Thank you.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm going to keep my presentation very short. So just I'm going to talk from my paper without sharing the PowerPoint. I'm Mustafa from Iraq Kurdistan region. I'm a PhD student actually. So I'm going to present a part of my project under the name Cultural Violence Representation in the Mountains echoed by Khaled Hosseini. So in my research, I'm considering a theory by Johann Galton called valence triangle. So basically, valence triangle divides valence into three types. The first type is structural balance. The second type is cultural, which leads to the third type called direct balance. So structural balance is basically based on the structures, like two groups or two domains which are in conflict. Like basically, is global unfairness goes in this category. Cultural balance is the people, is the approach of humans or other people around us who are approaching this type of violence. Either they accept it or they neglect it. At the end, when those types of violence occur, there are the last type of violence, which is direct violence that can be killing, raping, murdering, or any type of physical or verbal violence. So Johann Galton defines this type of violence. He says by cultural violence, we mean those aspects of culture, the symbolic sphere of our existence, exemplified by religion and ideology, language and art, empirical science and formal science, logic, mathematics that can be used to justify or legitimize direct or structural violence. So we either justify or legitimize the other types of violence. We just consider it as something normal or something happens that we cannot deal with. In my research, also, I'm looking at trauma. Trauma has influence on creating the culture of violence as the characters in a novel or any other fictional text have a feedback in their mind created from their past experience. It's not only that, the culture of violence itself creates possible future traumatic situations. The future regret as a result of remaining silent stays as a traumatic moment at the life of the characters. They will be always feeling and wish of going back to the moment to stop the violence rather than being a part of the action through cultural violence. The impossibility of the wish remains as a traumatic event with the character, and she keeps narrating the past in the search of remedy. Uh, this is like what I'm dealing with. I'm considering like different traumatic theories as well as narratological theories, like Gerald Prince, for example, this narration. So in the narratives, in the novels, I'm just not looking at what's happening, but also I'm looking at what is not happening or what's not narrated by the narrator. So, and the Mountains Echoed by Khaled Hosseini is published in 2003. It's basically talking about a sibling, like a boy and a daughter of a poor man who has to give his daughter into adoption because he cannot care after his daughter. Well, when he's giving him to adoption, his brother-in-law helps him arranging the adoption process to the boss of himself while he's a driver to a rich man. Well, I'm going to read one of the code. Like the driver, the brother-in-law's name is Uncle Nabi. So Uncle Nabi read, head rolled back on the shoulders as he loved. That would be something. No, this is my employer's home. You are about to meet them. Be on your best manners now. So he's ordering the daughter and her father to behave well while he knows why they are in the house, what they are doing, why they went there. So this character shows the cultural balance as someone who ignores the unfairness, who ignores the process of adoption, giving a daughter, a child to a rich family, rather than stopping that by helping them financially or trying to find any other type of solution. This is what we mean by cultural valence, and it's represented through this character. Moving to another example. There's another union and other civil wars and conflicts. The characters are traumatized by over the situation. They can all be only audience to the situation. Follow up with the developments to see how their life, their own country and outside of the border. So
course,
Yeah,
should join room 1. Am I right?
It's 2:30. Yes, it's 2:30. Yeah, but it